and I sold it when it was like 160, and I just been chasing it.
I'm gonna show the YouTube. I'm gonna show the YouTube. But I made a lot of bread. I made a lot of bread. You feel me? That's all y'all get. That's all y'all get. So those clips that you just saw were from the previous weekend of me vending at a card show, and this is part 2 of that series to actually go over if I made any money or did I lose money vending at a card show. This is Collect Decks, an index of collections that we hoard and hold and hodl in hopes that one day we'll be able to sell them for a premium profit. Before we begin, if you guys need ETB cases, don't go and spend $30+ on those big, hefty acrylic cases which are hard to store. Just go to my website and buy these plastic cases for $7 free shipping. They protect your ETBs just as good, and they're not as heavy or expensive, so it's a great affordable option. Again, $7 free shipping, link in the description below. So to get started on this part 2 of if I made profit at vending at a card show or not, I'll go over all the logistics of everything, what I kind of paid to actually get in the show and all the equipment and kind of supplies I needed, and then I'll talk about the products I sold, how much I sold them for, and if I made a profit or a loss, and is it even worth it doing a card show for 8 to 10 hours a day. And then I'll kind of give you my overall outlook and tell you if I would do it again or not. Jumping right into it, the first thing I want to talk about, and I'll throw up a list on the screen for you guys to see, is what I actually paid to be in the card show. So the card show itself cost about $150. Now that's cheap for some people, expensive for some, but I would say that's about the average in my area. I'm in Florida, and that's about how much being a vendor at a card show, having a table, will cost you. Now it was $150, and they gave us an 8-foot table, so it was a good amount of space actually for me and my friend Vince to both kind of be behind there comfortably. The only gripe I did have is the vendors behind us. There was less space between the two vendors front to back than there was actually between the vendors side to side, so that was a little thing there for sure. Now, aside from just paying for the table, I did need to buy a couple supplies because it was my first card show, and obviously you want to be professional and look like you can play the part. So a couple things that I had to buy was a storage rack for some of my products, a card display which was like about $100. It was actually one of the more expensive things, and then I also had to pay for certain marketing material, banners and QR codes where people could easily scan and pay. I'll just kind of go through that list really quickly. So for the table, again, it was $150. The display that we bought for the cards was about $100, a little bit more, but we'll just round it to $100. That storage rack was about $40, and then the marketing and kind of the banners and other things that we had added up to about $50. So all in, my cost of actually going to the card show was about $340 just to begin. Now, one thing I do want to let you guys know is a lot of these things you guys are not going to have to, if you decide to do this, you're not going to have to buy this twice unless you just want more. So I'm probably not going to have to spend this much money. I think the next card show that I do, if I do it, all I'll really have to pay in terms of expenses is just the gas to get there and the table fee. So $340, and that's a one-time thing in my head, minus the $150 for the table. Not a bad price. Now I want to get into the actual products that I sold, and it was quite a bit of things, so I'm gonna go through this at a pace, and I hope you guys understand if I'm not fully explaining everything. But one thing I do want to impress to you guys, if you ever have the decision to be a vendor at a card show, it's very hectic, especially the first time around. You're not gonna have all your ducks in a row. You kind of just have to do the best that you can. Shout out to my boy Vince that went to me with this at this vendor card show. He actually had the great idea of taking pictures of as many things as we could as we sold them, so that we can kind of account for it later. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have even done half as good. I would have probably forgot half the things that I sold. So this list is most of the things, the sealed product that we sold, but not all, because I may have missed some here and there. So I'll just go through it really quick and I'll put it up on the screen for you guys to look at as well. So obviously one of the things that I sold was the Mega Evolution booster box, which I bought that for 200 and sold it for 3, so made a $100 profit there. Charizard UPC also made $90 in profit there. I only sold one. I only took one because I'm trying to hold on to those. The collection boxes. Now I sold a number of collection boxes. I'll just say I average bought them for about 40 bucks each. Sold them for about $65 each. 4 of them adds up to 60 bucks in profit. 3-pack blisters. I sold 3 Phantasmal Flames 3-pack blisters, and I sold those for 30 bucks each, so I came out with about $45 profit on just that item. Also had 3 prismatic poster collections that I bought at about $20 each, and I was able to sell those for about $35 each, so the profit for that came out to $45. Now, the booster bundles that I sold, these guys, most of the stuff that I sold actually was way under market. I just wanted to do good deals and be there for the community and kind of like show people that good prices are still around if you look for them. So the first one I'll start with is the Destined Rivals booster bundle. At the time of recording, the Destined Rivals booster bundle is going for about $65 to $70. Last week at the card show, I sold them for $50 each. Sold 4 of them. I made an $80 profit out of it, so not a bad day when it comes to that. Now the Ascended Heroes booster bundle, I had to have sold the Ascended Heroes cheaper than anybody else had them. I sold them for $60 each and only made about a $60 profit. But all the people that bought were happy, and I hope they come back again because of my prices. Now the Phantasmal Flames booster bundles, same situation as the Destined booster bundles. I sold them way below market and only made about 80 bucks on selling 4 of them. And then the final bigger item that I sold was a prismatic ETB, which I bought way back for about 80 bucks and I sold it for 150, so made a $70 profit there. Outside of these things, there was a couple other things that I sold, but just not easy to account for, and I'll get into a little bit more of that in a moment. But on just sealed product alone, of at least of what's accounted for, I made about $630 in profit if you minus what I actually paid for the items. Now, another thing I want to talk about is our single sales. Guys, me and Vince sold hella singles, and it's hard to account for that here in this video. However, I do want to tell you, if you're able to do good trades with singles and sell them back for a good profit, the margins are crazy. Because if you buy something for, $3 and you sell it back for $7, you made over 50% of your money. And I know these numbers might not sound a lot, but if you put it at scale, if you sell 100 of these types of deals, if you do 100 of these types of deals, you can see the numbers exponentially grow up. So I didn't really account for that here because I wasn't ready to account for that at the show and even now, but I did sell, me and Vince both sold a hell of a lot of singles, and we actually even made some trade deals for slabs and other things like that. So it's hard to account for that, but I will tell you, we definitely made a good amount of profit on that, and I'll be looking to account for that better if I do it again in the future. And just to kind of show you some of the great deals that we did, check out this Deoxys I picked up. Yeah, this was a trade. I forgot for what exactly that I traded for, but great deal. This Deoxys is a super low-key card. Also this Clefairy, traded right on the spot, and then I put it up for $30. In reality, I think we got this card for about 10 bucks. So we're trying to sell it back for $30, which I think is still under market at the moment. This is from Perfect Order, by the way. And then this Umbreon Gold Star 25th anniversary. I forgot the exact deal that we did for it, but we pretty much got this for 60%. Can't beat that, y'all. Can't beat that. So what's my overall outlook? Absolutely amazing. The community was amazing. Me and Vince had so much fun talking to people, talking to nerds, collectors, scalpers even, and just talking about the overall market. One of the things that you won't hear online, but in person everybody's talking about, is perfect order. People love to rip perfect order, but if you go online, it just seems like everybody hates perfect order. I'm telling you, the on the ground news is completely different, and don't let the hype fool you. So the overall outlook was pretty good, guys. Now, would I do it again? Absolutely, for sure. I can't wait till my next show and do things more efficiently and make a little bit more money. Speaking of money, the bottom line is I really only made about $290 of profit, which is not a bad day. Standing there for about 8 hours a day, I made $290 of profit. And if I didn't have to pay for all the other stuff that we had to pay for to prepare for the show, I would have made a lot more money. And I think I've actually made even more money than 290. Like I said, there was some things that weren't really accounted for, which I'll do better at next time. But yeah, that's actually my profit for just this first time endeavor. Now, some of you guys might hear that and be like, ah, that's chump change. Some of you guys might be like, $290 in one day is a good day. I'm in the middle. The thing is, there's a lot of intangibles that I cannot explain to you here on camera, and also things that won't be in the numbers, like how many of these single deals that we did that is gonna come back to us in the future triple fold, or however you want to say that. It's gonna come back to us. We did some great deals. $290 was my profit alone. Vince has his own profit because he was selling Hot Wheels and his singles and other things like that too. So he has his own separate profit. So for the two of us, we did great just on our first time vending. It was the first time vending for both of us, and it was so fun. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you a part 2 of this to let you know how things really went, because I know in the first video I didn't really fully divulge how much I actually made. And while we're doing this, check out this Bubble Mew I pulled from Paldea Evolved. I might send this in to get graded. You guys let me know in the comment section, should I get it graded? I'm kind of scared of PSA, to be honest. But if you stayed this long, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and support the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the links in the description below. If you want anything to support the channel, if you want this straw hat American flag, is super cool. I sold a lot of those at the show as well. So if you guys want something like that, check out the links in the description below, and I'll catch you guys on the next time. Peace.